If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
I'm Glenn, this is AM 1570 WNST.net. I could bore you with stuff about me, but you obviously care much more about the man to my right, so please, if you would, give it up for Baltimore Ravens tight end number 88, Dennis Pitta. You said they were tame. You said tame group here tonight.
I mean, just compared to what we ran in the last week.
Well, I mean, yes. Last week was out of control, but I'm sure when Paul Kruger shows up, I'm sure it'll just get completely wild. Right? He brings the wild.
He's bringing his own people.
By the way, is this going to be awkward, you and him? Like, I mean, is there ever like a moment where you two sort of look at each other and you're like, oh yeah, Utah guy. Oh yeah, BYU guy. Never get a little awkward between the two?
You know, about 4 years ago, it would have been real awkward. But now, no. I mean,
you're good for
either of us could care less. I mean,
does it get a little off? Hang on. What about the week of the game? Is there anything? Did he maybe have a little fun with you this year, like at your expense after what happened?
I mean, I mean, it's just such a good rivalry, and it was a lot of fun playing. But you know, every week we always do some kind of a bet. I think we bet like I had to wear a Utah shirt, or you had to wear a BYU shirt, but they never even gave me a Utah shirt. So
wait, hang on. That sounds like they didn't honor his bet. That's what that sounds like to me.
No, they said they were going to provide me with a Utah shirt, and then I would wear it on Wednesday, and they never gave it to me.
Okay, all right.
I'm not going to go out and buy a Utah shirt.
Well, I understand that. I guess I understand that. All right, exciting week around here in Baltimore, a weird week around here in Baltimore. Let's start with what happened on Sunday. And we've talked about this before. People that complain about, boy, you guys didn't win by as much as you should have. It always seems quite silly to you when you hear that, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you know, there's always things in the game you'd like to have back, plays you'd like to have back, things you'd like to do differently, but, I mean, a win is a win, and that's what you got to realize. You look around the league and there's so many close games every week, and that's really the difference between a lot of these teams. It's just such a small margin of victory, and so you know, we are happy to be where we're at, and you know, obviously excited about this game coming forward. But you know, to be 5-1, to have won some hard-fought games, I think that speaks volumes to this team.
I'm sure you're aware. You've heard this somewhere. There are literally 2 teams in the AFC currently that have records above 500.
Yeah, you know, I just heard that today.
I mean, and you guys are playing on Sunday, obviously.
Yeah.
It's an amazing sort of weird start of the year, and it reminds you of, for whatever might have not gone wrong thus far, that's a really good thing to have in your favor at the moment.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, I just heard that statistic this morning, and I didn't realize that. You know, you always think, you know, New England and the Steelers and all those teams are going to be right there with you, but you know, they're all 500 or below, and you know, it's a good feeling. Really, this game means a lot because it's for control of the AFC right now. You know, it's still early in the season, but anytime you can be the top seed at any point, you know, you want to be that. So that's kind of what's at stake for us this week.
What's the moment like for you as a football player when the other team is lining up for a game-winning kick? When it's completely, when you guys haven't even seen the ball for like the last 20 minutes of the football game, and now the other team is lining up for a kick, there's nothing you can do, you just sort of have to sit back and hope. What's that moment like for a football player?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a good feeling. We, you know, Joe and I were talking kind of that whole sequence, and he was mic'd up, and I forgot. We probably said some things that we shouldn't have.
He admitted some of them already, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. But, you know, you just sit there and it's a helpless feeling. You know, obviously you have a ton of trust in your guys and obviously in our defense, but there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to sit and watch the result. And so, you know, the last, 4 or 5 minutes of that game, we didn't see the field at all, and, you know, they were driving down, and then there were so many critical plays that, like, I couldn't even really watch. And, you know, they score a touchdown, and they have to convert the 2-point conversion, and, you know, they don't get it.
And then so, you guys won, game over,
yeah! So we breathe a sigh of relief, and then we realize, okay, we got to get this onside kick. This isn't a done deal. And, you know, sure enough, they end up getting the kick, and, you know, after that point, you're like, oh, geez, this is not going well right now. And then, they get the pass interference call, which, you know, is a tough call to make in that situation. But, you know, I actually thought they were going to be farther downfield than they were. And I think they spotted him a little bit farther back. And then, you know, there's nothing you can do. You just have to sit and hope and wait. And, you know, he ended up missing it.
He ended up working out, correct. Yeah. One of the things that Joe had said that you guys were talking about at the end of the game was you kind of just wanted them to go ahead and put it in. You know, like let's just go ahead and line up for the 2-point conversion. Because, and I don't think this has anything to do with, you know, offense versus defense as much as football players, as men, you want things in your hands. You want to have control of your own fate. You want to be on the field to handle those situations.
Yeah, I mean, once they started driving the ball down the field, getting pretty good field position, you know, we're sitting over there like, all right, we need to get them, you know, not that we want to let them score, but if this is going to happen, you know, they need to score, give us some time to be able to get back into field goal range, really keep the game-winning field goal. Because, like you said, then it is in our hands, and we can do something about it, and, you know, we can hit a couple big plays, get in field goal range. And so that's what we were kind of talking about, and, you know, our defense was just fighting so hard, and they kept converting, you know, long third downs, and they converted 2 fourth downs, and it's just like, oh man, it was just tough for us to get off the field. But you know, the Cowboys, I think Romo did a great job on that drive.
They had good players there too.
Obviously, yeah. And so it was just one of those things. It's just tough to sit back and watch.
All right, let's get to this already because I had about 5 listeners message me about this week. You know, you became quite the popular fantasy football tight end a little early in the season, right? I mean, you're aware of that? Yeah. There's a lot of people that are wondering when you're going to start getting that going again there, Dennis Pitta.
I know. You know, fantasy is, for players, is kind of a frustrating thing because everybody wants to mention to you how you're affecting their life and their fantasy.
Right. But you're like,
that's really all they have to say to you.
We won the game. Like, yeah. I did my job.
So, you know, the first couple of weeks, you know, I put up some big points fantasy-wise, and, you know, everybody was, you know, saying, hey, I added you, this and that, and then we played Cleveland, and I had no catches. And, you know, I didn't even want to check, you know, any social media. And everybody's saying, you're killing me this week. My brother-in-law's got his team, and he's texted me about it, and saying, you killed me this week. I got friends that have me on their team, and so it's just something you have to deal with as players that, you know, everybody wants to mention to you about how you did in fantasy.
Have you ever played, by the way? Like, have you ever been part of a fantasy football league in any way?
You know, when I was in college, one year I did do a fantasy football league with some of my friends. And, no, it's fun. I mean, it gets you engaged in the games, and you want to root for your players, the guys that are on your team, and I get it. And, you know, I'll probably, when I'm done playing, maybe I'll get in a fantasy league or something, but, you know, just as players, it's frustrating. Everybody just has to mention it to you.
Right. Just like, okay, dude, I'm aware. Trust me, I'm aware I didn't have a catch on. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't need you to remind me of that.
It feels like sometimes people care more about their fantasy team than their actual team that they're a fan of. Right.
Right. Oh, you guys won? Big deal. My fantasy team lost. It's your fault. So exactly. I don't like you very much this week. Headed into this game against Houston, did you watch Sunday night when they played the Packers?
I watched a little bit of it. Yeah, I watched probably a quarter and a half or so, and you know, Packers played really well in that game. And, you know, I think their season was kind of in limbo, and that was a big game for them. And they came out and they played well, and Aaron Rodgers was on fire. And it's tough, you know, if that team plays well, it's tough to beat them. So.
One thing I heard recently, somebody say, you know, you guys the last couple of seasons have kept running into the New England Patriots, or before that it was the Pittsburgh Steelers, that the teams just kept running into and couldn't quite get that one over-the-hump type of win. And you guys eventually got it against the Steelers last year in the regular season, and then got
twice. Twice in the regular season.
Right. Well, but I feel like the one in Pittsburgh was sort of the over-the-hump moment, I guess.
Yeah.
Like that was the one where it conquer the demons, whatever you want to call it. That for the Texans in a little bit of a way, you guys might represent that for them. That the last couple of seasons, played you guys a few times, and they haven't been able to beat you at all. So for them, this might be even a little bit more than just another big game. Because for those reasons, they keep seeing you guys, and they just can't quite get past you.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're definitely right. You know, since I've been here, I think we played them 3 times, twice last year, and we beat them every time. You know, I remember that game a couple years ago when I was a rookie, and we went down to Houston and actually won in overtime on a pick 6, and
right,
Josh Wilson.
Yeah.
And so, they've had some heartbreaking losses, and obviously we put them out of the playoffs last year. So I think they're going to be highly motivated to win, not only because, they haven't beaten us in however many tries, but at the same time, I don't think they feel like they played their best football on last Sunday. So we understand that, and we know we're going to get their best game, and it's going to be a challenge. But that's what the NFL is about. That's what it makes this game fun, and we're excited to play.
And in a way, it's almost like a statement type of thing. You guys have dealt with this. The Texans are obviously one of the better teams in the AFC, but some people are going to say, yeah, but I don't know if I really believe in them until I see how they do against the Ravens. Like, it's almost a statement to be made.
Yeah, I think you're right. This is a marquee game for their organization as well as ours, and so whoever's better on Sunday is
right.
who's going to be praised afterward, and the team that loses is going to take all the heat. So that's just how it goes from that.
How, if you end up lining up at some point, I don't know that this could happen, but let's just say it were to, that you look across and J.J. Watt is staring you down. How the heck do you block that guy right now?
I mean, I'm giving up some weight to him.
Correct.
So, that'll be a tough one, but he's a good player. He's had a great year, obviously, and we got to do everything we can to slow him down. And so, I might be able to throw a shoulder into him, chip him while I'm releasing, something like that. But hopefully I won't have.
Certainly wouldn't be anything illegal. You never do anything like that.
No, absolutely.
No, that doesn't sound like your style. All right, we waited this long. A weird week around the locker room, I assume. Weird week. Given the guys that went down, given the guys that are coming back, how much are you guys aware of all of that today? And we're going to wait for Paul to get here. Obviously, he's on the defensive side of the ball. We'll talk about some more of those things. But how much is it that you're aware of it? Around the city, it's been like everybody panic, and then everybody celebrate, and then everybody panic. It's crazy around the city. But for you guys, is it even something you really notice all that much?
Not really. We stick to our routine. We go through, the same things that we do every week, regardless of who's there. And, one thing you learn to do is just, you always accept new faces and people that come around because there's so much turnover in the NFL. So one guy goes down, the next guy's up. And, for most of us, it doesn't really even faze us. So, obviously with those injuries to Ray and to Webby and some of our key guys offensively, those are going to be tough losses. And difficult to overcome, but at the same time it gives other guys opportunities to step in and play. And we have depth on this team, and we're excited about the guys that are going to get a chance now. And so, and then obviously, it's been fun to have Terrell out there.
Right.
His voice back in the locker room and back out on the field. And so, like you said, you lose some, but you gain others.
It's not quite as peaceful in the locker room anymore, I assume. It's a little bit more hectic in there. We mentioned last week, it's funny, we had a conversation about who would be the guy. Once Ray was gone, who would be the guy? So is now the time you have to step up and volunteer? I know, wait, Dance Central 3 came out this week.
Just came out, yeah.
By the way, did you pick it up?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, but I'm assuming you'll get
I'll probably get it for my wife for her birthday.
Okay, so there you go. So is this your time? Do you need to step up and say, you know what? We're missing our dancer before the games. Guys, I'll have you know, I'm Dennis Pitta. I'm a heck of a dancer. I'm willing to step right in.
Absolutely not.
Oh, we tried it. It was worth the shot. Do you guys think Dennis Pitta should be willing to dance before the
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I don't mean to put pressure on you or anything.
Yeah, there's no pressure. I'm not going to do it.
All right, give it.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.